What's up, Alabama fans? It's Andrew Bone with BamaInsider.com. Breaking news on Bama Insider just now. Robbie Ouzts, three-star tight end from Rock Hill, South Carolina, just committed to the Crimson Tide. Big commitment. This is a guy that we've talked about for months as a possible next commitment for the Crimson Tide. And he finally makes a decision. And, he's commitment number 21 for the Crimson Tide. He's actually, the first tight end. But as, people will, may have forgotten, Alabama did sign Caden Clark last year, but ended up taking a gray shirt. So Caden Clark will be coming in here in January, and then Robbie Ouzts as well. So getting Robbie Ouzts on board, huge deal for Alabama, because it's been a two-team race for the probably the last 3 or 4 months between Alabama and Virginia Tech. And I know many people want to say, well, it was Alabama or Virginia Tech. It's kind of an easy decision. But biggest issue there was he had only visited Alabama one time. It was during COVID. It was, it was a trip where he just really got a chance to see the campus. Didn't even really get a chance to go inside the facilities. Didn't get a chance to meet with the coaching staff. So this was really, a big win for Alabama, because he had taken about 4 or 5 visits to Virginia Tech. Was very familiar with the campus. Was very, very familiar with the coaching staff. Everything, was very positive for the Virginia Tech Hokies, but obviously Alabama was able to pull this one off. Big get, like I said. Charles Kelly, a lead recruiter there, along with Jeff Banks, the tight end coach. Pulling off this big tight end, 6'3", about 245 pounds. Reminds me a little bit of Hill Hinches coming out of high school. Just a big physical guy. Not going to blow you away with with his speed or anything like that, but somebody that can be an inline tight end, can go out and get the job done. Kind of similar build to like I said, to Hill Hinches, an Irv Smith type player. But I think Alabama fans should be excited. I think he's a little bit underrated as a 3-star. One of those kids that would have really benefited by going out and going to camps this spring and being seen during the summer. And unfortunately, because of COVID, none of that was able to take place. But I know the Alabama coaching staff is extremely high on him. Very excited to get him on board today. So as far as tight end recruiting is concerned, that should be it. I know we've mentioned some other guys who are out there that Alabama's been keeping tabs on, and I've been saying, whoever commits first is going to have the spot, and it's Robbie Ouzts. He's going to be the only tight end in this class. That's 21 commitments, so not a lot of spots remaining in the class, because we've talked about it here before, and I know for the last few months we've talked about Alabama may try to sign around 27 guys, but I'm hearing that number is going to be a little bit lower, maybe 25, maybe 26. So let's go on the high side. Alabama only has 21 commitments right now, so only 5 more spots remaining. Who are going to fill those spots? Well, Alabama just got their tight end. They recently just got their quarterback. I don't see a running back being in this class. I just don't see it happening. I know a lot of people are talking about Kamar Wheaton, the number 1 running back in the country. That's just not going to happen. I think he's going to end up going to Oklahoma, maybe LSU, but I don't think it's going to be Alabama. Wide receiver wise, still trying to get one more guy at the wide receiver position. Brian Thomas remains a big time target for Alabama. Alabama has 3 wide receiver commitments right now. Brian Thomas still, very high on Alabama's wish list, and they would love to add him as part of this class. Offensive line, and I mentioned this yesterday on the Bama Insider recruiting board on my weekly recruiting thoughts, that I can see this being a class where Alabama only signs 4 offensive linemen. They have 4 offensive line commitments right now. Still a few guys that are out there. Marius Mims plans on announcing a decision next month. So we'll see what happens with him. But, I think Alabama could potentially be finished at the offensive line position. Defensive line, a little bit different story. Still a lot of guys that are out there, especially at the defensive end position. A lot of defensive ends. JT Tuilamola, Chambry Jackson, Shamar Turner, Tumise Adelier, Tyreek Sapp, Corey Foreman. a lot of guys at the defensive end position. They're heavily recruiting. I think if Alabama can get two of those guys, it's going to be an unbelievable class at the defensive end position because you already have a commitment from Monkel Goodwine, who's obviously one of the top defensive ends in the country. Defensive tackle wise, I could see them potentially being finished. Obviously they're still going after Mason Smith, the number one defensive tackle in the country. They really want him as a part of the class, but you already have interior defensive line commitments from Damon Payne, Anquan Barnes, and Tim Keenan. So that could potentially be, Alabama's defensive tackle class right there. Linebacker wise, Alabama's still pressing for Xavier Sori, but he's really the only linebacker that they're going after. If they miss on him, potentially could be finished at the linebacker position. Now, there is one intriguing prospect who's still out there that we're continuing to monitor, continuing to watch this fall, and that's Christian Zachary from Carrollton High School over in Georgia. I think the biggest question with him is which position will he play once he gets to the next level? Is he a linebacker? Is he a defensive end? Is he a jack linebacker? I think those are some of the questions that Alabama still has. Want to watch him a little bit this season, but this is a kid who had 20 sacks during his sophomore year. They're very, very interested in. He missed a little bit of his junior season due to an injury, so he's coming back. I think they would have liked to seen him this spring or had him in camp this summer and then made that decision, but unfortunately they're having to wait a little bit longer, then make a choice. Obviously, defensive back-wise, Alabama has 4 very good, very talented defensive backs committed. I think they definitely want to at least add one more guy, maybe 2 if they can get the right 2. And we've talked about a lot of these guys before. I mean, obviously, JaQuincy McKinstry's still out there, even though many people think he's going to go to Auburn. Terrion Arnold, who is right at the top of Alabama's wish list, still a big time contender for him. There's still some other guys out there: Sage Ryan, Jordan Gilbert, 2 guys from the state of Louisiana. And then, as far as special teams is concerned, Alabama's not going to sign any special teams players in this year's class. But once again, Robbie Ouzts makes his decision, makes his commitment today to Alabama. And we've talked about this for months. We've said, or at least for the last month, we've said we keep hearing sometime in September. It's going to happen sometime in September. Well, it certainly did happen sometime in September, and this is a big, big commitment for Alabama today. The only tight end that Alabama is going to sign in this class, besides Caden Clark, who gray shirted. So Alabama fans, be happy. And a reminder: we are going to have our recruiting show tonight. At 8 p.m., our live recruiting show on YouTube. So just go to our YouTube page, hit subscribe, and the alert will come up this evening at 8 p.m. And we'll see you then. But once again, Alabama commitment number 21, Robbie Ouzts, tight end from Rock Hill, South Carolina, jumps on board, and a lot of credit goes to Charles Kelly and Jeff Banks in landing his commitments. That's all I got for right now, and I hope you guys have a great day.